Yep, nothing too bad, just some cuts and bruises. Fuck, man, life sometimes shows you that even you give your heart out and everything you got, you still fall short. That was a close fight, almost had him on the third, but I guess it wasn't enough. And yeah, man, fuck, I don't even know what to say. Just thank you to ATT, the best in the world, bro. Thank you, Dan.
Kenaikan Ankalaev ke puncak divisi kelas berat ringan UFC dipertanyakan oleh beberapa penggemar dan pakar setelah UFC 313 lalu. Meskipun pertarungan berlangsung alot dari awal hingga akhir, banyak penggemar yang percaya bahwa Pereira yang seharusnya memenangkan di pertarungan itu, dan bukannya Ankalaev yang pantas mendapatkan sabuk juara kelas berat ringan. Namun bagi sang juara interim di kelas berat Thomas Pinal yang juga turut mengamati jalannya acara UFC 313, menyatakan kebingungannya dengan reaksi sebagian penggemar terhadap skor Pereira versus Ankalaev. Selama wawancaranya baru-baru ini dengan Jamal Nias, Aspinall bereaksi kepada mereka yang memberikan kemenangan bagi Pereira di acara UFC 313 tersebut dengan mengatakan,
I can't believe people watched that fight and thought that Pereira won. It was just wild to me that how many uneducated fans are out there. And how many uneducated fans thought it was a boring fight as well. I thought it was an amazing fight. Both guys did good. And I think that Ankalaev was just a lot better than him on the night. That's it.
Meskipun awalnya mengisyaratkan akan kembali ke kelas menengah untuk melawan Dricus du Plessis, Pereira akhirnya fokus pada kemungkinan pertandingan ulangnya melawan Ankalaev akhir tahun ini. Dan potensi kenaikannya ke kelas berat masih bisa diperhitungkan jika dia kembali mampu merebut gelar light heavyweight dari Ankalaev, namun jika kembali gagal mungkin ada baiknya kembali ke bengkel sajalah. Bulan lalu juara UFC 145 pon Ilia Topuria secara mengejutkan melepaskan gelarnya di featherweight dan mengarahkan pandangannya ke kelas berat yang lebih tinggi yaitu di kelas ringan. Ada banyak pertarungan seru yang bisa dijalani Topuria di 155 pon seperti melawan sang juara Islam Makhachev atau pesaing utama Arman Tsarukyan atau bahkan Dustin Poirier. Dan dari keberangkatannya ini ke kelas ringan, dinilai beberapa pakar MMA bahwa langkahnya ini adalah langkah yang terburu-buru. Topuria seharusnya lebih mempertimbangkan lagi tentang pertarungan selanjutnya yang masih tersedia di 145 pon setelah mengalahkan dua dedengkot di kelasnya Alexander Volkanovski dan Max Holloway. Potensi yang mungkin sebenarnya tersedia adalah pertarungan ulangnya dengan Alexander Volkanovski hingga melawan penantang Diego Lopez atau bahkan Movsar Evlov yang belum terkalahkan. Mereka ini memiliki niat untuk mengejar Topuria. Dan dari sinilah lahir pemikiran dari legenda UFC seperti mantan juara di kelas welter George St. Pierre dan Matt Serra, di mana mereka lebih ingin lagi melihat Topuria menjadi petarung yang lebih buas dengan membersihkan kelas 145 ponnya terlebih dahulu.
I think it's going to be interesting to see him at 155. I would have liked to see him at 145 a little bit more because I feel like he had some big wins, obviously, with Volkanovski and Max Holloway, but I think it might be a little premature to go up. Not that he couldn't do it. I'm sure he could do it, but why not be a savage and clear out that division even more? You got Diego Lopez. You got other guys down there that are dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I would have liked to see him fight there.
Ya, Diego Lopez kini tengah berada di peringkat ketiga dengan rekor 5 kemenangan dan 1 kekalahan di UFC. Dia akan menjadi penantang berikutnya dalam pertarungan gelar yang kosong melawan Alexander Volkanovski di UFC 314. Dan tepat di bawah peringkat Lopez, ada Movsar Evlov dengan rekor kemenangan 19 kemenangan dan belum terkalahkan, dan Evlov adalah petarung yang memberikan kekalahan pada Lopez pada tahun 2023 lalu. Padahal Evlov sangat menginginkan pertarungannya dengan Topuria, namun sepertinya itu tidak akan dijumpainya lagi setelah mantan juara dengan rekor 16 kemenangan dan juga belum terkalahkan telah lari ke divisi lain untuk mencoba nasib yang lain pula.
That's what we thought it was going to be. I did the face-off. So originally, early, that's what I wanted. And then it got to a point where I didn't know what was happening. And you're hearing him even talk about maybe moving up. I'm like, is this just negotiations? Like, what's going on? So I didn't think too much in it. So we're still game planning for Ilia. And then you're hearing,
could it maybe be Lopez? And then I'm like, so by this stage, I'm like, all right, just give me anyone now. Like, you know, so I want to get that win back, but I also want to prove that I can beat this new school.
Yeah.
And I want to do that with Villiers. He's gone, but I can still do that with the new school. I can still, you know, part of my comeback story is still that I can take out this new school. I still got these guys, trust me. So it's that's still good for my story. Lopez, young, hungry, he's on a tear at the moment. Go out and do that and be like, oh wow.
I don't know that Islam should fight him first. For Makhachev, he goes and beats Ilia Topuria, right? People will say he beat Volk, he beat Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, Renato Moicano. Seems pretty good. That's 5 title fight wins. But in that, it would say, well, he's defended the belt 3 times against featherweights. Because at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter what you do or in high regard you hold someone. The fact that he was the champion in the lower weight class is what's going to be pointed to the moment Islam beats him. Because anytime you have a dominant champ, anytime, you look for reasons to discredit them. Happens all the time. He beat a featherweight, and he beat a featherweight, and then he beat a guy that was ranked lower on a day's notice. People will always try to like find holes in his title reign when those title reign holes aren't there. He is the best fighter in the world, and we should respect that. But Justin Gaethje seems to be the guy that could be next. But Ilia Topuria is there. Also, Arman Tsarukyan has a claim to maybe getting a title fight. 155 right now is a complete mess. It's a mess.
Cory Sandhagen bertekad untuk mendapatkan kesempatan merebut gelar UFC kembali pada tahun 2025, dan itu akan dimulainya dengan satu upaya kemenangannya ketika berdansa dengan Deiveson Figueiredo. Setelah kalah dalam keputusan mutlak atas Umar Nurmagomedov dalam eliminasi gelar kelas bantam pada bulan Agustus tahun lalu, dan dengan harapan bahwa juara di kelas 135 pon Merab Dvalishvili akan bertanding ulang dengan Sean O'Malley dalam pertarungan berikutnya, Sandhagen memandang pertarungannya yang akan datang melawan Figueiredo sebagai kesempatan utama untuk membuat pernyataannya kembali ke pertarungan gelar. Dia adalah satu nama dalam peringkat teratas yang belum pernah bertarung dengan salah satu dari mereka, apakah itu sang juara divisi bahkan Sean O'Malley. Dan itulah mengapa menurutnya para penggemar memiliki keinginan untuk menyaksikannya dalam pertarungan gelar divisi kelas bantam setelah melewati Figueiredo bulan depan.
I like the fight a lot. I think that I have a lot of advantages going into this fight against Figgy. I think that I've grown so much as a fighter, you know, and I lost a close one against a guy that lost a close one to the champ. So I still don't think that I'm very far off from the belt by any means. I still think that I could be 1 or 2 fights away for sure. I'm the only guy that hasn't fought Merab that's kind of, I think, going to be in the talks here pretty soon. And then I also think, too, that the entire world wants to see me and O'Malley fight each other.